got a little heat going on. As you can tell, since the last time you guys come and hang out, I have done nothing. I worked today till 3. It's Saturday. The 5-year-old didn't go to her grandmother's like she usually would on a Saturday night, so I helped entertain. Took her to the pet store to get some fish, and that was the whole thing. And so it's about 10 o'clock, 10:30 on a Saturday night. And, you know, I mean, I guess I'm going to have to clean this up first. Then we'll talk about that. But anyhow, I'm here. You're here. So let's see what we can mess up, right? Be back in a bit. Where's the stupid button? Dang it. Well, it's the next Saturday. I did get a little bit done. Then the next day I got to feeling sick. I've been fighting a Montezuma flu cold or something all week. Still kind of getting there, I guess, about 80%. I'm about here to see if we can do something. So, did get the gas tank out. Got the rear differential drained out. Fluid looked really good. I think all we're going to have to worry about is replacing that leaky pinion seal, and unless there's surprises there, I think we'll be good. Gas tank, well, you always got a surprise. You just never know. Woo! Had a little rough spot, just ran the wire brush by hand, brushy, and that was it. So, you know, could fix it. It's pretty cruddy on the inside, you know, but it's just not worth trying to fix when you can get one reproduction, brand new, looks just like this one for $179 plus shipping and the $10 oversized fee they charge you. So, you know, $200, we'll have one that we don't have to worry about. I think that's the way to go. Yeah. Level unit, it was froze, wouldn't move. Took this little cover off, and if you don't know, there's the little contacts in there. So we'll test this with the ohm meter, this being ground and this being the signal, and our relative ohms ratio should change from a high scale to a low scale, something like that. That'll tell us that it's working all right. So that saves us $80 right there. I bought the little rubber gasket kit for this, and where it mounts into the tank to put in the new tank. So we'll check that out later, see how that is. Straps, they're strapping. You know, they're really in pretty good shape. Clean them up, paint them up, and reuse them. And that saves us another $40. So, differential. Turns out that's a 7/16 square drive. You know, around here, around these parts, we got 1/2 inch and a 3/8. So I just took this 7/16 Allen key kind of deal, and you can see where I ground it flat, jabbed her in there, and popped it right out. So they sell that tool, but you know, when I can make them, whatever. Got some stuff. There's the little gasket kit I was telling you about. Right there. Leaf spring bushings for the rears. Leaf spring bushings for the fronts. Now I've got the tools, hopefully, to press the old ones out, press the new ones in. You'll see how that goes. The bolt will probably be frozen in here, which won't be any fun, but if we have to, we'll cut them, take it apart, find new hardware, heck with it. Then a little bushing. This is where the fuel filler neck goes through the body. So we did need one of those, and it was like $2, so I got it. Still will need to, we have these overbound or rebound straps. Well, those are tight and no weight on them. That'll be fun trying to pull all that together, won't it? And they were cheap. I thought I'd ordered them this time, but I guess I didn't, but no big deal. I'll order them when I order the gas tank here in a couple weeks. So, oh, another thing. 2 batteries. 2 6-volt batteries in series, made 12 volts, and it was a positive ground setup. Misnomer. I can switch it around, no big deal. The only thing that it might affect is the fuel pump. It has contacts and stuff, and I might see if I can, you know, those are $400. So if in fact we don't rebuild this and put one of the bigger aftermarket regular old 12 volts, then we'll run at 12 volt negative ground, and believe it or not, the engine won't turn over backwards. It'll turn over just fine. If I had a solid state radio in it that was meant for positive ground, it might fry it, which we don't have a radio. So other than that, then I think something funny with the distributor too, and you got to swap the coil. I don't know, but we'll go with positive ground, so long as, you know, what's the difference? Just got to be careful when somebody goes to jump Ralph over at the pub when the battery's dead, you know. So anyhow, we'll get this thing raised up, get this differential unbolted, get some bushings replaced, and we'll work on getting the brakes apart and all that happy stuff. Probably loosen up those knockoffs before I, you know, they're not bad. Alright, check in a bit. Got that fire going, man. Early this time, get it warmed up. Old junk box has got cold. Well, I did clean up a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. So I should probably finish my train of thought. The little square on each end was a 6-volt battery, little bitty things. But if you measure from here to right underneath here, the floorboard, the back part of the floorboard goes right here, I've got a battery that will fit right in there. I just have to cut this little step out, do a little bit of repair right here. You know, no big deal. It's not that big a deal. Just plop some sheet metal in there, and we'll run one 12 volt normal battery that's readily available instead of 2 little 6 volts that you probably can't get anymore, or they're 3 times as much as the one cheap battery. Okay, now I must have saw a squirrel. Let's go ahead and get this thing tore apart. We'll take off, loosen up these hubs. Driver's side is lefty tighty, righty loosey, and the other side is normal. And it tells you, I don't know, you know, it's just, it's, you know, I don't know. This says, yes, so it is. See, it says undo, undo with an arrow, so that way. And it says right side. So is the one on the front on the right side. The other says undo the opposite direction and left side, left side. You don't want to take your hubs and swap them, and I suppose maybe they'd loosen up. I don't know. Probably not, but it is what it is. Let me figure out what I'm going to do next. I'll get back with you. Well, that wasn't too bad. All my hardware's here intact. Didn't break anything. Those bolts I was afraid would be froze up. Yeah, they look like almost new. So, there we go. Got her out. Good news, all the bushings are in really good shape. Bad news, the bushing I got for the fronts is obviously the wrong ones. So I don't know if I'll just return those or scratch them off Ralph's parts payback list and just call it a day. Probably not worth trying to ship back. But these bushings are in good shape, so I'm not going to mess with it. They're they look fine to me. I use them on my car. Anyhow, got a pinion seal ripped out of there. I was a little concerned about how bad it was leaking and why, but it looks like we're good. I was afraid this pinion flange would be really wore out, like something got in there and chewed it up, but The old seal is just, well, that one over there, it's just super hard and wore out. There's nothing left of it. It's about disintegrated trying to get it out. So we'll put the new one in it, put this all back together, use some red Loctite, tighten this up to, it's a little bit smaller differential, but I'll tighten it up about like I would a lug nut. So should be just fine. I've done more pinion seals than I can count on everybody who's watching these fingers. Yeah, you know what I mean. So anyway, I'll get that slapped back together, clean some junky parts off of here. Then I want to use my engine crane over there, raise this whole thing up in the air so I can get the brakes in my teeth, and we'll go over the rear brakes. I think we're going to be in good shape. I got new wheel cylinders. The shoes are pretty much like new. They're a little cruddy, so we'll clean them up. But other than that, I think they're going to be a lot easier than the front. That's for sure. You know, and we'll start cleaning up and getting ready for some POR15. Hopefully those axle seals aren't like that pinion seal. Well, we'll know when we fill it up. If it starts leaking, I guess I'm jerking them out. You know, they're an external situation, so it's not the end of the world. Get that painted, rolled out of the way. Get this jacked up, about here. Get underneath it, clean it. Do my battery modifications, get everything took off of it, get it all cleaned up, and get it painted. And we'll put it back together and see what we're going to do with this little electric fuel pump. Probably take her off and bench test it, see if I can make it work. They got rebuild kits for them, or points and diaphragms, but there's like 18 different pumps that they had, so I don't know. We'll see. I doubt it'll work, but we'll check it out. All right, yay. Well, so much for that idea. Yeah, we need some shoes. Like I said, I don't know what I was thinking. Anyhow, sure, they're not very expensive. $20, $16, $13, $9, you know, everything's pretty cheap, but it's adding up. But, you know, part of the deal. Drums look okay. I got another pair of drums in the parts bin up there. So I'll scope them out and run them into the shop and resurface them if I think they need it. And, you know, well, I'm not going to take these brakes off till I got new ones. Ones you don't do very often, good idea to just do that. So probably I don't know, have me a couple of them wobble pops and work on taking some of this stuff off and start cleaning it, I guess. Axle seal back together, red Loctite on the nut. We're good. I got it full of fluid, so that way while I'm moving it around and all this and that, I can check it out and see if I have any leaks that start just from, you know, static. Better chance than not doing nothing at all. Yeah, a couple hours good work, and as far as I got. These little things are pretty easy to work on when they come apart. Anyway, I'll check in for you before you leave on this and call this a video. You know, yeah, I know it's not exciting, but you got to do it. That'll be exciting. Okay, I'll be back. Well, next day, couple things. Fuel level sending unit broke. It's shorted somewhere. I should be able to ohm with my ohm meter from here to this nut jobby study thing. And what it does is there's a coil of wire and it changes with the position of the contacts. Problem is, it's shorted somewhere. So there's no resistance no matter where you put this. I took, this is all corroded, so I took a little stud with a lead wire out of it and made new isolators and stuff, and it's kind of, it's just not worth it, really. I think they're 30 bucks, so unfortunately. The other thing is, I changed my mind on these bushings. If you look really close, and you can't, I'd rather replace these than to have old Ralph get to tooling around in it, and then they start cracking and, you know. So I'd rather do it now. So I'll have to do some research, find out why the ones I got are too big. I'm the understanding that since I found 1600 emblems for this, and it has disc brakes, that it's a 1600. The engine's a 1600. Maybe it's not. 1500s are different. So I don't know, maybe I'll take a chance on 1500s and see if they're smaller, or I'll see if I can figure something out. But anyhow, got it all cleaned up, about as clean as I'm going to get it. I'm going to blow it off and spray it down with something, and then POR15 it. Got all the brake lines off. I got to make a brake line or get a new one for this side. It just wouldn't, yeah. The only brake line in the whole car, fuel line, that froze up, and I heated it up and it wouldn't come, you know, you've been there. So I don't know, we'll go ahead and get that slathered up with some POR15. We'll wait on our brake shoes. You know, God, it's just gee, well, I don't know, I'll get back to you. Alright, well, I got the POR15. Where's my finger? Right here, POR15. And I got a gallon. I get a gallon because you get more for your money, but you got to be very, very, very careful. Your lid. Do not, I repeat, do not get POR15 in this groove. You know how you get it in there and then you knock a couple holes in there so it drains back in the can like some latex or even automotive paint? Don't do it. You'll never, ever, ever get this lid off again. So what I do, I use a stir stick, make sure it's all stirred up. I don't like to shake the can up because then again you're getting paint on top of your lid and inside that groove in the long run. I use these little, you know, like an old margarine bowl or something you got cleaned out. Here's my brush right there, a little cheapy brush. And all I do is this right here. I use the stick just like that. Get my POR15 in there that way. I don't get it on the edge of the paint can. It'll take a little bit, believe me. I can use this whole entire can. Also, by doing this, we're not getting contaminants in the can that will make this stuff set up. If it sets up in the can, you got a mess and you're wasting a whole bunch. But I'll be using this whole entire can just a little bit at a time. Now if I was going to spray it, thin it down with whatever, I would do the same thing and then transfer it from my cup to my spray gun, whatever, you know. So we'll just do a little bit of this, and this stuff goes a long way, so it don't take a whole lot to do that whole differential and leaf springs. Like I said, I could spray it, but that stuff, this stuff is gets all over everything. It gets in your eyeballs, on your glasses. You know, there's times I'll be spraying it, but this isn't one of them. One more. And that's going to be plenty for what I need to do. If I need a little more, I'll get a little more. Set my paint stick on my towel here so it doesn't get dirty. Take my lid. You notice I got no paint in that groove, at least very, very little. Set that on there, keep any dirt, push her down a little bit. And before I'm done, of course, I'm going to knock that down really good so it stays sealed up. Anyway, there's your POR15 trick. Alright, well, it's not perfect. It's a whole lot nicer. Good enough for good enough for what we're doing. You know, it'll preserve it. You know, the whatever paint Ralph Jr. and Ralph Sr. put on everything kind of helped preserve it for 50 some odd years. So, you know, of course the housing's aluminum and it should be silver technically. Sort of like that one sitting way over there. See if I can I zoom? Hello? That right there. Of course that one's froze up, but it should be that color. This one's just not. You know, I sent some pictures to my good old buddy Bill Andrews, who's a body guy by trade, and he's done this a whole lot longer than I have. I've known him since I was 18 years old. I sent him pictures of what I was doing, and he sent me pictures of the same rear end, all took apart, looked brand new. You know, we're just you know, it's just not what we're doing here. But it did make me a little jealous, you know. But hey, I believe this. If this was mine, I'd probably do it exactly this way. You know, it's kind of one of those deals. Let's fix what's broke and let the rest of it be, and just make it look presentable. So, anyhow, glad you guys come to hang out again. The numbers of people watching are probably dropping. But that's all right. I do what I do. Don't really care about. I like doing videos, but I'm gonna have to do videos of what I'm doing. Man, I'm nasty. Well, anyways, glad you guys come by. We'll see you on the next one. Do me a favor, if you're not subscribing and you want to see silliness like this, I got lots of videos. You know. Oh, I ought to tell you, this gas tank, the old one, is going to be an upright base made of the parts from the base you can't see. There. Yeah. That'll be a project for some other time though. Alright. Thanks guys. We'll see you on the next one. I need a sandwich.